devoted to God from a tender young age all her life. So these things you could probably see practiced out in their religion, in their day-to-day living, and the choices that Mary made, and certainly can be inspiring by her example.
Well, one thing that we have to take a little pause right now. We'll be back in a few moments with more Web of Faith.
My soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit hath rejoiced in God my Saviour, because he hath regarded the lowliness of his handmaid. For behold, from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. For he that is mighty hath done great things to me, and holy is his name. And his mercy is from generation unto generations to them that fear him. He hath
Honorific abilitudinitatibus. Honorific abilitudinitatibus.
My mic up, you can, because I'll talk. Oh, I just. No.
Me too. Yay!
Yeah, now I can hear me.
And I'm back.
You might hear people
And
say
she's better than ever.
capo and shit.
Honorific abilitudinitatibus.
What?
I was right. I was
Yeah.
totally right.
You get an A+ today.
I'll dig it. I'm just going to go ahead and bring my camera up there, Tim, since we're,
Yeah, these are roasted. They're good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Do you want me to flip your screen to you so you can see?
Yay! Thank you.
She likes that.
I like to be able to see myself.
Do I need some? Do I have? I don't think I'm in the shot. I think I need to.
Yeah, maybe up a little bit.
I'll let Ed figure it out.
My hair is a hot mess. I'm gonna go ahead and say that out loud.
So what?
My hair?
I didn't do it.
I need to get
Oh,
it
it's because
cut.
I was slouching, huh? I'm not. I'm in an active. Oh, that's not a good almond. That is a bad. That is a bad almond.
Ew, ew. That's gross. That's gross.
Not as gross as that almond was. Blimey. Okay. Well, Kathleen?
Yep.
It's all you.
All right. I needed some water, though. I was going to go get some.
Too late! I'll get you some.
Yay. Thank you. Ew. Well, on today's episode of The Lone Ranger, it's just me. You and me are gathered here today. No. You gonna be all right over there?
I think so. The almond situation.
Ew, that's how you say it.
Huh?
That's how you say
Almond?
it.
Almond? It just
You say almond
It
or
depends
Almond
on
milk.
what.
I love almond milk.
It just depends.
Oh, my
almond?
goodness.
No.
That's the best thing they ever created there.
What about the platypus? I think the platypus was a pretty darn good creation.
Oh, man. That was... Oh, let's see. Do we have...
Who even thought of that?
Father Ryan.
Go
Come
on.
in, Father Ryan. Oh, not yet. Oh, I'm sorry. Turn that
Big
down.
money, big money, big money.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes, these almonds are very good.
Stop.
I know I keep moving, don't I?
I like it with my
Where you-
crayfish.
Ew. Where are you even from?
We're going to have a crayfish boil next week.
Oh, like a crayfish festival?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, IKEA, they have a crayfish festival.
Stop saying
Okay, IKEA.
that. Yeah, you can say the other one. I mean, you can say IKEA.
I guess you think we could raise the light up a little bit so I can see El Jefe over there?
Oh, you don't you just need to feel me.
Yeah.
You don't need to see me.
That's true. Put your hand on the radio. Yeah, it looks good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can. I can now. I can done did now. Oh, and now we're on Jeff.
There he is. He's so cute.
Oh. I had to move over. This is where I'll be. Ain't too proud to beg. Mm-hmm. Almond's good. How do you milk them, though? These things are kind of...
I don't know.
You know, that's the thing. Like the almond milk. It's actually just fine ground almonds.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Ground so fine it makes a milk. You know, so you get the oils and the, yeah.
I never knew that.
Mhm.
Tastes good, though. Kidneys. Keep them kidneys clean, too.
Yep, ground almonds occasionally used as a substitute for dairy milk. Unlike animal milk, almond milk contains neither cholesterol nor lactose, as it does not contain any animal products. It is suitable for vegans and vegetarians who abstain from dairy products.
So where do you get these almonds? These are quite tasty.
The almonds, those come from the Trader Joe's, and those are little 100-calorie packs, so you can get a bag of them.
Oh, man.
And also, if you like the fattier cashew,
I love a cashew.
it is the fattiest of all fat nuts. Fat,
Next to the
fat,
macadamia.
Fatty, fat. Yeah. Next to the macadamia nut.
Yeah. Which I dearly love. Isn't it obvious?
I prefer my macadamia nuts in a cookie. You don't like a macadamia nut? See, it's funny because to me the macadamia nut almost tastes like a white chocolate chip in a macadamia nut cookie. I didn't know what they were when I had a macadamia nut cookie, and so I was saying to myself, where is the macadamia nut? All I taste are these white chocolate chips. Turns out they were not white chocolate chips at all, but nuts. The end. Okay.
Zoot zoot.
I hear it. Let's see what my cellular telephone is telling me. Oh, I'm so very popular. Oh, no. Oh, Father Humphrey's just logged into the website. It was telling me. Hey, Mary Kate. Still coming. We are well. We are quite alive. Well, at least I am. I can't speak for Kathleen. I have 2 moments for you and your gallant crew.
Isn't that special?
It is special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you think it is. You're not right, but you think it is.
Thank the Lord you're here, Father Ryan.
Thank the Lord for everything that's good.
Yeah, I can't. I
go ahead
can't
and do
make
that.
fun of her all by myself.
Well, I was stuck here by myself with this one over here.
You need to go up and listen to the internet's talk about I gave a Homer sermon this morning because it was all about how good the charismatic renewal is.
Oh yeah.
If you understood half of what I said, I'd be fairly impressed. I got so spun up in my own words. I gave a sermon about how I was a charismaniac in my youth.
You should send it to Joshua.
It's on the website.
He can go there at his own volition.
That's right. What do I look like? Winston Churchill? CBE?
We will rest in the spirit on the beaches.
All right,
and
so-
in the fields.
All right, from Ed Ball, tilt down.
Me?
Yes, Father Ryan, please.
But you meant me, I was just going to bow.
I will bring forth my epic teeth.
Just
Mower down?
pan a little bit to your right. Just
I
a
don't know what that
smidge.
means. That way?
No, the other right.
Well, I've got to move my entire monitor, so panning is not a thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold that.
Yeah.
Now tilt down a bit more. That's it. We love it.
Superb.
Okay, so I went to Father Josh's ordination.
Yeah, I know. I saw you.
Money shot. Money shot.
You did?
I did.
What?
I was trying to make not faces, but like I don't want to distract you when you're.
At me? You were
No,
trying
no,
to make faces?
well, my main goal is Father Brent Mayer because
Oh, yeah.
he is like stone cold.
Uh-huh.
Vitam Venturi Secoli.
And I told him at Father Tim's ordination, I tried really hard because I sat on the end of the row. And he was like, no, I don't look at anybody. I said, one day I'm going to get you to...
Normally it's me who makes people crack up.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit too expressive.
Yeah. Oh, no, I loved it.
I'm a little too expressive when I'm attending events like ordinations and whatnot. I tend to wear, as you can imagine, I wear my expression on my sleeve, occasionally on my face.
We're not amused.
And you have short sleeves on, too.
I do. Short sleeves.
That's what Eddie said.
Why would you do that? Why?
Because I can.
Yeah.
Why climb the mountain? Because it's there. Spa, my Vulcan friend.
It's so deep, dude. Like, really
From
deep.
the Catholic underground.
That's our deep open.
We're already getting a little siloning from your side. So just be...
And you know what's really funny?
No, but I don't think it's going to be funny.
The auto tube, the U auto tube. I think the internet service provider is throttling.
Could be. If you went over and throttled them.
They need a good throttling.
Excuse me, you belong to Cox? Pop! Bow! Problem solved. Kerplat.
Taylor, I'm not Sheldon Cooper. I don't talk like him. I don't speak in clips and phrases. I guess I do speak in clips and phrases, but I refuse to believe that.
Hey, MK. How you doing there?
AFK. Sheldor the Conqueror. AFK. Are there any gamers over there who know what AFK means?
I was just trying to figure that out.
Away from the keyboard?
That's right.
Wow.
You are the prize.
Ding, 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 ding. Here, you can have the rest of my almonds.
That's not right.
Man, these things are good.
Almond.
You totally Dan Quailed that word.
Potato.
Wait.
Yep. What? I didn't do it.
Not now. Get out of here with that.
With your face.
Get out.
So's your face.
Wait, how come I'm not in the chat?
My expressions are just like Sheldon Cooper's? Oh, well. I don't know. I'll have to ask somebody else for verification.
You look like a less shiny C-3PO.
Human cyborg relations.
You know, I discovered this week that in 1982,
Yeah.
E.T. came out,
Yeah.
Blade Runner came out,
Yep.
Wrath of Khan came out,
Yar.
and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, all in 1 year.
Yep. It was a big time.
It certainly was. That concludes my useful fact. I'm also enjoying the absolute mess out of a show called QI from the BBC.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about QI.
Quite interesting. Hosted by one Stephen Fry.
Yeah, QI is like in its millionth season, isn't it?
Season 11.
Uh-huh. It's going to be one of those nights with the microphone. Jeff, can I keep the microphone this far away and still be okay? I mean, I tend to speak...
Yeah, of course.
I just speak close to it.
Yeah, we have plenty of gain. It's fine.
Okay, I don't want to...
I have that every time I take a vacation. It's okay. You just get on treadmill.
Yeah. As you'll notice, I have been.
Yeah. I can't see you. Remember, all I see is my own balding self.
Oh. No, I don't mean me. I mean on your Fitbit.
I don't know what that means. Oh yeah, you're always ahead.
My Fitbit died.
What did
I was wondering what happened to you because
It
you were
won't-
like always.
Now you're
kicking out here.
unranked.
It won't sync, and I had to turn in my computer for school. So I took my
Oh.
Bluetooth thing out, and I placed it in one of the 8 tubs of stuff that I have from my office. So I had to go
But
find.
it syncs to your phone.
No, it doesn't anymore. It's not syncing anywhere. I hit the reset button.
Bring it to me.
Okay.
Sounds like it's sinking in one of those tubs.
I'm gonna be really sad if it's like dead.
I will look onto it.
Okay.
If it does not work, I will give it to Ryan.
Hi.
He is a priest, and he will make it onto work.
I want you to be aware. I work on the thing, but I cannot guarantee it work because I do not have the license for to make it click.
You maybe for conflict with void warranty?
Yeah, because of course I cannot guarantee. But I will give it a try. Okay.
I need it to work because I just ordered a new color band for it.
Then you track me,
Bang.
and I make it work. Okay, you track me.
Uiteraard. We ain't cool.
What are you saying?
We have a cool.
Some bells.
We watched the Capo sketch a little bit earlier.
For some reason this morning I woke up and the first thing that came into my brain, not good morning, not good morning Jesus, nothing, was frozen bells. I mean, just immediately, and I went, okay.
I've had
gonna
those
be.
days, yeah.
Frozen bells, Mr. Frozenberry Bells and Bells.
Hello, dolls. My name is Mr. Frossenberry Barnsberry. Hold on a second.
You said something different.
I can't say that on YouTube.
You can't say that on air.
You said
I
cheese.
just said that, dog. I just said that.
Give me that solid. I hope that you are satisfied.
Well, the reason I brought up QI,
Yeah.
because the show, and I don't know if you've seen an episode or not, but I'll send you one. The show is basically Stephen Fry sitting there with a bunch of points that don't matter and a bunch of 4 comedians around him.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks a bunch of questions, almost all of which are meant to be gotten wrong. They're trick questions. And so, they'll ask something like, what is this sound? And they'll play a klaxon, and someone will say klaxon, and he goes, of course it's not. You lose 10 points. And then he gives some kind of meaningless facts. And related to the klaxon is a name brand and not like Kleenex and tissues. And then they just kind of chat and make jokes with one another throughout the episode. And for 45 minutes, it's basically like your 5th grade teacher telling you facts.
Oh, yeah.
They're all absolutely hysterical. And could you imagine doing a Catholic show of that?
Now you've got my attention.
Yeah. I mean, it would be unstoppable to just do a bunch of kind of, like little trick questions about the faith, the things that people assume they know the answer to. And then you flip and you say, no, that's not the right answer, but here is the right answer. And you have some people with fun personalities just kind of, adding interesting, quirky stories or just kind of being funny and being, quirky. A lot like what Catholic Underground was invented to be, but a little bit more quiz show and a little bit less panel show.
I would like to be all of those things except for what you said. No, I think that would be awesome.
It'd be a neat show.
We might have to work on some development.
It'd be really, really tough to do, but I mean, if you did it like the BBC style where you did series.
Yeah, right. Just do 6 or, yeah.
Where if you did, I think you could do 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you did it where you just say, look, we're going to fly a bunch of people in or they're going to fly themselves in and just stay a week. We're going to have a vacation. We're all going to hang out. And we're just going to kind of mix it around. You may have like 8 people who are going to be the panelists. And if you just kind of put them in different combinations, and you film it all out during a week. You do 3 a day.
Kind of like they had to have done with the Penny Arcade strip search where they all try to draw comic strips. I think they did that over the course of a week.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that's
they
perfectly
spread it out
reasonable.
over a month. So,
And if you started with, like I say, a 6 or an 8 show run, that'd be even easier. And, you get some fun people. You got Roberto. You got, some other people who are on our show, on our panel. Maybe some people who, like Anne Catherine Heimer, whatever her name is. Some people just who had a quirky sense of humor.
you mean Mary
Really
Kate
fun.
Taylor? Not Anne Catherine Emmerich. That's
I was thinking of Anne Catherine Anne Christian Hyman.
Oh,
Hyman.
okay. Yeah.
Hyman,
I think.
Hyman, I don't know. But track me. But just find some funny people and just kind of do a show like that. Would be really easy to shoot out because it's zero. I mean, in terms of production cost, it's other than a set.
Yeah.
Really that's it. You can do the post as long as it takes, and then it'd be a fun show to run on the web and then also syndicate to the TV.
So, Father Ryan.
Yes, sir.
If I may, sir, because I'm old and I haven't read the show notes, can you kind of give us a rundown of what's on the show tonight? Beans.
I guess. Hang on. I've messed up my chair now.
Uh-oh. And I can't see, and I didn't bring my
This
iPad
week
with
on
me.
the Catholic Underground,
Yes.
forget climate change. How about just cheap electricity? We'll have the latest on the new oblations from the cult of Mac. And we packed the bus for camp. Chant camp.
Chant
All this,
camp.
our picks of the week, and
I
so
did see
much
that
more.
one. At St. Anne's, somewhere out there in California.
Correct.
In San Diego.
Oh.
San Diego. They named it San Diego.
Diego.
Because we all know it means a paperclip was lost in the making of this movie.
Yes. It was the original founding and birthplace of the Knights of Columbus.
Indeed.
It's not true.
No.
No?
New Haven, Connecticut was.
Zeus's beard, it's a lie.
I would love it if Father Shimano were in fact Thor.
What?
Because then all of his superlatives would make sense.
That's an insider.
Does mother know you weareth her drapes?
Only on Saturdays.
That's weird.
There's a meme on Pinterest where Thor is crying in the corner.
Yes.
And Loki looks at him and he turns and he's got these big puppy dog tears and he says, "They are mother's drapes." I asketh the mother, they are her drape.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm going to wander next door, start the recorder in there.
Yeah, the derp.
I need to, the derp, yes.
Derp.
That's what it is. It's the digital RP. We call it the derp one.
I thought that was your nickname for me.
Oh, the other thing that's kind of nice is David Mitchell is on several episodes of the current season of QI.
He's a panelist.
He is, yeah. The funniest thing was Rich Hall was on an early episode, like season 1, and he's got that very, very sardonic sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so they'll ask a question, and everybody's kind of joking about it, and he looks over and goes, "You Brits, this is all stupid." And they can't tell whether he's joking or not. So they just keep looking back at him and going,
"We're uncomfortable. We're very uncomfortable."
Yeah, I mean, he's the master of the awkward. Okay, thank you. Very, very not good. But the thing that really got me to enjoy the show that I thought was funny was very much like Drew Carey and Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Uh-huh.
Eventually, the points just don't matter. And I like a quiz show where the points don't matter.
I like that too because then you can actually have fun on the quiz show.
Right. At the end, you announce the points, and everybody goes, "These don't matter."
Yeah. I finally got finished with my old one, so.
You have 697,000 points.
I'm excited.
You have -4.
Take one fish.
You shall receive a jar of pickled herring.
Oh, guess who I hung out with this week?
Bob Newhart.
No,
Bob Newhart's ghost.
No.
He's not dead.
The pre-ghost of Bob Newhart.
He actually is dead.
Oh. No. Father Scott Thomas in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. I know Scott.
We hung out.
I don't.
Well, that's because he's in Jackson. Nobody really goes there.
Well.
Can you say?
So, I apologize to our listeners.
I was just going to say, it's a good thing this doesn't go out, in the podcast.
They don't have internet there.
Oh, wow.
Did we say something a couple weeks ago about modest bathing suits? Did we say something about that?
We did. Somebody had developed. Some teenager did a website for modest bras.
Oh yeah, you gave me that.
Teenage bras.
You gave me that one. Thanks.
Did we speak of it? I don't remember. I think I'd remember something like that.
I think I was assigned it.
Oh.
You also want to note that I did not put a whole lot of topics here because I was busy this last week, so please go slow.
Okay.
Don't rush.
Do what?
And feel free to add any kind of interesting stories and quirks that come in along the way.
Yeah, I figure we'll talk about the Pentecost and all that.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Because I don't even want to talk about
Closest thing I have to read
It's too depressing. We'll just go with 5 total topics.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I figure
I
we'll
could bake
spend
you a Pentecost
bit of
cake.
time on Mac.
I don't know what that means.
I guess we should pray. Good Lord.
Yeah, we're running late.
All right, Father, take it away.
Yes. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Come, Holy Spirit, and fill the hearts of your faithful, and kindle in them the fire of your love, and we shall be renewed, and we shall be created, and you shall renew the face of the earth. We pray that you would send your blessing upon us in this Pentecost, that you would protect and defend us against all things that cause harm to you and the glorification of your name and your church. We pray you would protect us from saying things that ought not to be said, saying things that are prideful and vainglorious. And we pray, Lord, that you would fill the hearts of all those who listen to this show, either live or in recording, with a receptivity and a docility to your will in all things. We pray to send your blessing upon us this evening, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
See you from the Catholic Underground.
Home. Join Marcus as he welcomes former pastor of the Reformed Church of America, Cliff Bijama. See how his theological studies led him home to the Catholic Church. That's on the next Journey Home, only on EWTN.
This is EWTN Radio.
Hello, this is Jimmy Sakers. I want to tell you about my book, The Fullness of Truth. It's a handbook for explaining and defending the Catholic faith, written in language that lay people can easily understand. Each section, for example, let's say infallibility, opens with a one-page cliff note with the headings What, Why, and Wow. If you want more information, you just flip the page to the following essay that backs it up. It's a great tool for you as well as your high school and college children. And best of all, you can get it on Kindle for $2.99. Or if you like paper, you can have total access to the entire book for $9.99 at the dedicated website, thefullnessoftruth.com.
Catholic Community Radio is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and your financial gift is tax deductible. We are here for you, but we can't do it without your help. Log on to CatholicCommunityRadio.org today.
Catholic Community Radio can't happen without your spiritual support, but we're also praying for you. Call our prayer force today, and we'll add your prayers to our growing teams of rosary groups, Eucharistic adorers, and small faith communities. 225-341-2720.
I would always hear from different people at non-Catholic churches that Catholics were going to hell, or that they really didn't know who the Lord was. The Catholic Church is not all what people say it is. I mean, it's completely different. There's so many stereotypes. It's very possible to know the Lord, and it's very possible to have a relationship with God in the Catholic Church. I believe I was born into the Catholic Church, and that's where I belong.
If you've been away from the Catholic Church, visit CatholicsComeHome.org.
Catholic Community Radio
Catholic radio for your community
is listener supported.
1380
WPYR Baton Rouge.
This is your station.
Catholic radio for your community. From the Catholic Underground.
Today on the show, this week, forget climate change. How about just cheap electricity? We'll have the latest on the new oblations from the Cult of Mac, our We Pack the Bus for Camp, Chant Camp, our Picks of the Week, so much more. Right now, it's time for the Catholic Underground, and it starts now. Hello there. Fancy seeing you here. It's time for the Catholic Underground. We're your weekly Catholic guide to the digital continent. It's episode number 266. I am Father Chris Decker. If you are listening live, you can join us at CatholicUnderground.tv and get your chat on with us. Joining me this week, we've got Father Ryan Humphreys. He's the rector of the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in historic Natchitoches, Louisiana, fresh from his Pentecost Mass tour. Hello, Father.
Hello, world.
Also, the incoming campus minister at St. Michael the Archangel High School in Baton Rouge, our fully licensed faith ninja, Kathleen Lee, joins us. Hello, Kathleen.
Hello, everyone.
Yay.
Yep. And Jeff Blackwell is the tech director of the CU. He is the commandant of the Jeff Star 1 near-Earth orbit satellite. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, and also Kathleen's literally biggest fan.
Oh. For some reason, I was going to introduce you as Jeffula.
That works.
Anyway, Mary Kate Taylor.
Yes,
Mary Kate Taylor's back, the disembodied video editor of the live stream. We've also got Ed.
Yes.
We've also got Ed sitting in, and Tim. Tim is our seminarian, and one day you may, if you're really good and you clap your hands for him, he might show up. So there you go.
Tim is not a rabbit.
He is not a rabbit. He is in fact a real
Therefore,
person.
he's harmless.
He is quite mostly harmless. Yeah. So no matter where you stand on climate change, coal, solar, hydroelectric, or hamster power, which is Kathleen's preferred method.
That's true.
Everyone agrees that it would be just super if electricity could be produced cheaply, quietly, and abundantly with as few raw ingredients as possible. Father Ryan, I like this idea of super cheap, quiet electricity. It reminds me of Steve Jobs, the former head of Apple, who, if he could have had a computer work without electricity, he would have, because he never wanted fans in anything.
Right. He wanted it to be beautiful and elegant, and of course, moving hot air across circuit boards is not elegant or beautiful.
Ever. And so they'd look at him and they'd say, well, we can't do it without a fan because circuitry generates heat. And it turns out we do need power to power our MacBooks, Father. And so what do we do with the notion of cheap, quiet, efficient, abundant electricity?
Well, if you stop and think about it, solar is quiet, but it's extremely expensive to produce. It's got a very, very low efficiency, and the resultant electricity is not abundant. If the sun, you have a couple of bad days of storms, there's no more electricity.
Yeah.
Hydroelectric makes a lot of power, but it's very expensive, and it's extremely loud, and it's dangerous. If you have to dam things up, there's lots of problems. Coal and gas are abundant. They're relatively cheap, but they require lots of raw materials, and of course they produce lots of pollution.
Yeah.
And then you have nuclear, which is abundant and quiet, but it's not cheap, and it produces lots of nasty waste. And of course, if it explodes, bad things happen.
That's a bit of a problem, actually.
Yeah. As it turns out, it's not good. So there are actually a few people who are trying now to say, well, what about wind? Can we make wind work? Because wind, generally speaking, is quiet.
Yep.
But the problem is it doesn't produce much power. It's extremely expensive. It's very inefficient. And now you have whole flocks of birds running into giant propellers, all manatee-like. And that's just not good. And also, who wants to see a bunch of, of giant propellers in the backyard? Well, unsurprisingly, a company from the northern part of Europe, and they've not made crystal clear exactly where they're from, have developed this thing that is a wind turbine that makes basically a combination. So it's not like a big propeller. It's like a funnel, and it grabs the wind, and it spins on very, very little wind, and it moves on an articulated mount, and it's light. So you're talking like $5-6 grand, and you put one in your house, or you put one on your house, and the idea is they want to have 2 or 3 of these things could power your entire house.
Wow.
And so it works really well with very, very little wind. It's as low as 5 kilometers per hour, which is very, very little wind. It can produce energy, and these things are small. You're talking 3-4 feet across, not 500 yards.
Yeah.
And so you really can mount it to the top of your house. What's more, if a bird runs into it, he's just going to be wildly confused. He's not really going to, die or be cut into pieces.
I just went through a wormhole.
And so you have here a really remarkable idea coming from these people who were just trying to come up with something that's cheap. And of course, it fits all of our categories. It is cheap. It is quiet. It's abundant. It uses basically no raw ingredients. And it does something that's kind of been missing, which is make wind something reasonable for the local home.
Basically, it's just air. Yeah. So I'm interested. So how big are these things?
5-6 feet across.
5 to 6 feet across. So it's basically like a solid windsock.
Give or take, yeah. I mean, it actually, it's beautiful because you know those ridiculous things that hang and spin in all the different directions, and they make the little bird or the flower that all men hate, but everybody on Pinterest thinks is awesome. Those, it looks exactly like that because once it starts spinning, it's this very, very beautiful thing, and you could imagine painted versions of these coming out that really were quite beautiful. And so it's kind of like an art form that will actually hold up to hurricane speed winds and produce power. So you could imagine if the hurricane comes, you don't need the natural gas generator because the fan's just going to, the generator's going to actually, you get more power during a hurricane rather than less.
Yeah, if you happen to be watching on the video feed, we'll bring up the camera here, or the computer, and you can see, let me see if I can describe these things to you. They come in many colors, and it looks like a pinwheel, kind of like a pinwheel would look, like a kid would have, you know? It's a concentric pinwheel, and it looks like there's a turbine on the end of what is the pinwheel. So I could see how the air would just kind of catch it and then turn around.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a cross-section of a seashell.
It does. It looks like the cross-section of a seashell. And they're assuming the scale is here. In fact, you can see on YouTube there's a little field test of them. They aren't very big at all. So that's something.
And they're working at the end of the video. They hint that they're doing a mini version as well that may only be 1.5 feet, 2 feet across.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about the cost for the standard one at $5,400.
Yeah. So this is not a bank breaker if you want to say go off the grid.
No, I mean it's a very reasonable investment. I mean, and if it's the kind of thing that actually shows some value, I'd get 4 or 5 of them and put it in my school. I mean, for $50,000, that's not a bad investment to cut down. I mean, because if you think like here in Louisiana, the wind blows all year long, and it's so expensive to heat and cool in the summertime. This kind of thing would be a gigantic win for me, and I couldn't put it on my historic buildings. But I mean, gosh, $5,000 or $6,000, you put 30 or 40 grand into it, and if you could turn your electric bill down, I mean, my electric bill for my campus is almost $2,500 a month.
Sure, yeah, mine as well.
So if I could reduce that by half or 2/3, that's no brainer.
Now I've thought about solar for that matter for a rural parish, especially since we're near the river and there are no trees or anything, so we're always facing the sun. But that's a 50 or 60 grand project, and I don't know if you get as much wattage as you might be able to with a couple of these wind powered things.
Well, and the other thing that gets me excited about this is, and you had this experience when you were down in, I believe it was Haiti.
Yep.
Where what if you could have, or what if we could donate? We buy 4 or 5 of these, and we'll send 1 or 2 off to a mission church,
right,
or a mission hospital, in somewhere in Africa that there's no grid to hook up to.
Right.
3 or 4 of these things could make a gigantic difference. Charging cell phones, making it possible to get more sanitary conditions. I mean, that's a huge win for a lot of people. And this is a giant way of being able to help mission territory, too. It could become a really important part of the future.
Kathleen, you're an itinerant missionary.
Yes.
So what do you think of this idea?
I think it's great. You know, I think I've been to Africa where they're using...
Is it solar?
No, it's...
Is it a wind turbine? Like the big propellers?
Ethanol.
Ethanol. Yeah.
Yeah, they're using that. And all over the world, they're having to find alternative ways to provide energy, to provide power.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, and if you can provide it cheaper and more reliably, I say go for it.
And the thing about it is, really, once you buy the thing, it's free. You might have to buy batteries, periodically, because batteries, unless you buy those batteries that have the water in them, and that's how they charge. You just put the water. It really sounds like it could be a really revolutionary thing, especially as you say, Father, for the emerging world. Jeff, you're on board with this, I bet.
Yeah, the thing that I don't know a lot about is, like you said, capturing the wind and generating the power is fine, but where is that energy stored?
Yeah.
How often does it have to be charged? I mean, do you have to have a professional electrician install?
If it's in the EU, you probably will.
Yeah.
Well, and they've answered some of these questions on the website. The in terms of where do you store it? If you are in the United States, the law requires that the power company buy back the electricity you produce if you go the other way. So you don't actually have to store. It's just going to send it back to the big capacitors that the power company's running.
Fascinating.
So if you're going to do this for your lake house, then you would have to buy batteries, but those are already out there because the solar companies and stuff like that have been working on these batteries for a good long while.
Gotcha. That is very sweet. Very cool.
Yeah, it is. And the other part of your question there, if I just lost my brain, you were asking about the batteries, and you asked about something else.
Oh, as far as the installation, do you need a...
Yes, you do have to have a professional install these, and down the road, it seems like they may not want to, but it's just like a natural gas generator. You need somebody who is legally licensed to handle high electricity.
Yeah.
Because it does. It brings in actual voltage.
I bet it does.
Yeah. In a slightly unrelated thing, Father, have you read this national report from the scientific research facility in Wyoming that suggests that solar panels not only convert the sun's energy into usable energy, but that they are also draining the sun of its own energy?
Wow.
It is. I mean, they can't drain it. Like there's no consistent stream, but the sun is burning itself out.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it does. Right. That's what a sun does. So,
I just thought this was so funny that that this group spent probably a good deal of money and resources. The Wyoming Institute of Technology.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's a think tank in Cheyenne, and that's basically put into layman's terms. According to the website on the National Report, the solar panels capture the sun's energy, but pull on the sun over time, forcing more energy to be released than the sun is actually producing.
Oh yeah.
Imagine and so here's the image, okay? Imagine a waterfall dumping water, but you aren't catching the water in buckets, but rather sucking it in with a vacuum cleaner. Eventually, you're going to suck in so much water that you drain the river above that waterfall completely.
Aha. Yeah.
Are they trying to bring Hitler back too? I mean, what are the kind of ridiculous nonsense they planned?
It just seems a little nonsensical because we know that the sun is a giant ball of gas, and in a couple of billion years. So are they saying that if we keep using solar energy, the sun's going to be done in about 15?
It's throwing its energy out. That's the.
I know,
the analogy with the river is comically absurd. The river's not duct taped together. It's a bunch of individual water molecules.
I know.
I mean, there's the vaguest sense of water has surface tension, so that when you pour, you may actually end up having to pull the pitcher away slightly. But I mean, that's not the same thing as sucking it out of the pitcher.
Are you sure this study was not done in Colorado or something?
Was this done by a fraternity? Was this done after the luau party or something?
Right. I'm just saying we're just reporting what's been reported to us.
Absolutely.
So we'll put that in the show notes for you to make your own choice about. But I read it and I said, you've got to be kidding. You've got, of course we're but I don't think that we're hastening the burning out of the sun. It's freely giving us its energy as God created it.
That doesn't really happen.
This is not a thing. Yeah. So hopefully, we certainly recognize that the need to use the resources on our planet well. That's an important thing. Pope Benedict talked about it. Pope Francis talked about it. And certainly this is one of those ways to do it, whether it's solar, whether it's wind. That's really kind of neat. So however you get the Catholic Underground, we hope there's enough power for you to do it. You are listening to the Catholic Underground. We are online, if you can imagine, at CatholicUnderground.tv. I am Father Chris Decker. Joining us via Skype, Father Ryan Humphreys. You got Jeff Blackwell in the audio cave there. Yeah. Kathleen Lee sits to my left, your right. And Mary Kate Taylor, the unseen. But yet, what's that? Oh, it's Tim running the board right now. Ooh.
Oh, he's doing the punching.
Tim, your style is very much like Mary Kate.
He is Tim.
Yes, some call him Tim. Yeah.
I got to say, I love the hard rock elevator music for the transition. I know Jeff did. It's a great job. Because every time I feel like I'm sitting there, I'm just kind of like, yeah, This is awesome.
Right.
I'm just buying in right now. It's great. I really enjoyed that beat.
Oh, that's nice.
The first floor is a casino, isn't it?
Yeah. We take requests too.
That's right. There you go. So.
Stairway.
Freebird?
Freebird, right.
Yikes. So, Father Ryan, we knew this day would come. It started with OS 10 Mavericks and a complete renaming of all of the OS 10s. They were running out of Jungle Cats,
I guess.
Yeah, and so they started naming the new OS 10 integrations after places in California.
Basically, yeah, arbitrary places vaguely associated with California.
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we have OS 10 Yosemite.
Yep.
Like Sam.
Varmint. And iOS 8.
Right, and iOS 8 is here. Now, we have to remember, this is the WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference.
I think,
so
Father Ryan, we need to institute a Level 12 Geek Alert for this.
Yes.
Level 12 Geek Alert.
Just so you know, there may be a time in which we geek out, and you might want to go get something from the kitchen to eat. Continue.
That's right. This is a watermelon splash zone. The Worldwide Developers Conference is meant for people who are not end users, but people who are writing the apps. And so they explained a lot of new features coming out from OS 10, a lot of new features coming out from iOS, made them specifically for the people who are going to write apps. So this is not all the features.
Right.
This is just the features that are for people, who are app writers, me and Father Michael Earthman's another one, and people who are selling apps for phone and i. Now, and there's a lot of extremely exciting news. I'm going to try to keep it, though, to something very simple. There's a lot of, on the OS 10 side, that's the desktop and laptop operating system, lots of interface tweaks. They've improved all the stock software, but the really big deal is what they're calling it's a continuity app. I forget exactly the name they're using for it, but it's kind of like in Chrome right now, Father. If I'm on Chrome on my computer and I'm searching for, Bob's Bakery, in Boston, and I pick up my phone, I walk away and I take my phone with me and I go, I forgot to write down the address. I can, on my iPhone, hit Chrome and say, give me the page that was open on my desktop computer, and it'll pop straight up. And it just knows what's going on. It synchronizes them.
Yeah, that's called handoff.
Handoff is the name for it. And so right now, that's the big feature. They're building that into iOS and iPhone now, and OS 10. Now, every TV show has pretended this has been the case since day one. Mm-hmm. You have somebody who swipes from their iPad, magically it goes up on some big 55-inch touchscreen. That's never been the case. No. But now it is.
This is the Minority Report thing.
Right.
Where Tom Cruise just kind of throws his file from one tablet to a wall. You've seen that.
I've seen it because that has Colin Farrell in it.
Right, of course.
Mm-hmm. That was what we were thinking.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's a big deal. But as the last several years have shown us, what Apple is really worried about now is getting iOS where it needs to go. And I'll admit to you up front, the additions that they're proposing actually cover all of my bases of reasons I left iPhone.
Really?
So I may very well find myself going back to iPhone when my contract comes up, because this is a big deal. Yeah. Biggest number one thing on the Ryan Humphreys list of this has got to get fixed: keyboards. Yeah. If you have an iPhone, or if you have an Android device and you can use the swipe, it's amazing.
Yes.
And the idea that you'd have to do this little nonsense, that goes away. And so they are now allowing third-party developers to introduce keyboards already. My favorite keyboards, the top 3 for me, are already signed up and said they're going to be introducing their keyboards.
Lovely.
Great news. Also, the continuity thing we talked about before is a big, giant deal, especially if you have Apple computers and you have Apple phones and you have an iPad. Gigantic.
Yeah.
They also introduced the ability to share Apple IDs, which has been such a problem for a long time. Now you can join together as a family, and so 2 people get married, they can share all their music and all their apps. You have kids, you can now set up certain accounts to approve or disapprove their purchasing of things.
Which is wonderful, yeah.
Oh, I like
yeah,
that.
so they're allowing you to link together only 6, but that number is likely to go up a little as time goes by. But it's a really big deal and something people have been yelling at for a while. Everything else is kind of the stuff we've been waiting for and expecting. They're doing a better job now with notification. So if it says Bob text messaged you, you can just click that and then immediately text message him back and not have to switch out of the app.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That is nice.
You know.
That's very nice. I like it.
And I like the fact that if you happen to have somebody on another operating system, like an Android device, you're still going to be able to use iMessage on Yosemite, and it's also still going to integrate well with the iPhone. I also like the fact that that Apple has integrated some of the features from WhatsApp. WhatsApp is an audio and picture sharing text message device and or app on the iPhone. And so, say Kathleen, I wanted to send you a little recording, through text message. Yeah. I can actually just hit record the text message, and send that as a text message to you. And nice. So it's kind of like a voicemail type feature. Mm-hmm. And if you remember way back, Jeff, I think everybody had these. Maybe even in the TV and radio industry, you had them. Nextel had the push to talk thing.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's essentially what this has kind of become. And I really like that idea.
That's a real cool idea. I like it too.
Yeah, so as you say, Father, there's not a whole lot that's incredibly groundbreaking, but there's a lot of new stuff here that is kind of the direction that you thought it was going to go, and we're hoping
right.
That it was.
And I should have to add that one more thing, that they're building in widgets.
Yeah,
now, it's not widgets on the desktop, but it's widgets in the notification center of your iPhone. But that's a really, really big issue for some people like me who just want to know that I can get to my Google Keep, or I can get to what my stock prices are doing. That's a helpful thing to know. The other two things, Father, we need to add is that they've introduced a system called Health.
Yes.
Which allows third-party developers like Nike, Power Band, and stuff like that to build to an API, so that if I've got a Fitbit scale and I've got my Fitbit tracker and I've got a Nike Fuel Band and I've got that Nike thing in my shoe, but I'm also using Runkeeper, mm-hmm. all of those things together can send their data to Health, and Health will bring all your health stuff into one place.
Nice.
And they're doing something exactly the same thing with home automation, where hopefully they're going to get Nest on board and others, so that if you have a drop cam providing security at your house, and you have a Nest device, and you have another device that's doing your, maybe turning your lights on and off, like an X11 device or something, all of those things now can talk in one place, and both of those things, Health and home automation, are fully Siri integrated.
And how much, Jeff, would you expect to pay for these upgrades?
Oh heavens, I can't even imagine. But I don't think it would be very cheap.
You'd imagine it would be a lot, right?
I do. Yeah.
What if I told you, Jeff?
What?
That all of this were available not for $100, not for $50, but absolutely free.
That's amazing,
isn't it? You're right.
It's amazing.
All.
There's more.
That's right. But
that's incredible.
Two copies for the free,
plus shipping and handling.
That's right. Yeah. Of course, it's funny how even the delivery of software has changed. Whenever OS 10 first came out, you had to go and buy the CD. Now with Mac being what it is now, with the App Center and everything, you download it.
It's and it is cool. Even now, I just recently upgraded. I had my iPhone 4 for about 3 years. Upgraded to an iPhone 5, and Father Ryan, I really debated. I mean, I was so tempted to go the Galaxy or the Samsung route, but I decided to stick with it because of my apps and contacts and all that stuff, and I didn't want to have to think about it. But the other night, I downloaded a real-time analyzer app because I do the audio thing, and surprisingly, I downloaded it to the iPad, and just like with a couple of minutes later, I go to pick up my iPhone, and it's already on my iPhone too. So I like that.
No, I do too. And I, as I said at the beginning, I'm seriously thinking about going back, because the biggest reason I left is because the keyboard. I just fell in love with keyboards on Android and could not stand the idea of having to continue to tap. Also, we need to add that the iPhone 6. I was reading rumors about the iPhone 6. Mm-hmm. September, a new 4.7-inch iPhone is supposed to come out. That's exactly the same size as the latest Samsung Galaxy.
Oh, so
4.7 inches.
The Samsung graham crapper. Oh my, graham cracker.
And the
what do you do with that audio? I don't know. Keep going.
Now.
And they're also introducing a second size. They're going to release the iPhone 6S right away, and it's going to be 5.5 inches, which is the size of the Galaxy Note. Oh. And so that covers all my bases. I can have the keyboard I want. I can have all the cool interactivity I want. I can have widgets, and I can have the screen size I want. That covers my bases. So I may have to wait until March or April next year, but I'm pretty much going to go back to iPhone after that, which is great.
By the way, let me interrupt, Father Chris. In celebration of Pentecost, you did kind of, for our listeners, turn a shade of red over there.
Yeah, with my glossolalia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on, gentlemen.
You must talk in tongues.
Yeah.
Good for talking in the tongues.
So, So I like this too, because I wonder if maybe it means that Apple isn't kind of breaking out of some of their we know what you need kind of thing.
Yeah, that would definitely seem to be the case. Unfortunately, you're still stuck. They're not skinning their system. You're still stuck with whatever Johnny Ive thinks is cool. So they're rebranding. They're redoing all the graphics for iPhone, for iOS. And so whatever you've gotten used to, stop being used to them.
That's right.
All new.
Gonna change.
And it's going to keep changing every year according to whatever Johnny Ive thinks is good.
Kathleen, you're probably still going to be a PC user, but with your iPhone, right?
Yeah, I haven't made the computer leap to Apple, but I am a diehard iPhone user.
Yeah.
So my question, the school where you are going, St. Michael's, St. Michael's, are they a Mac school?
No. None of our high schools here in Baton Rouge are schools.
Yeah.
However, there are a few in New Orleans who are using what's those things called?
iPads.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
I'm glad I understand, what this is. Minority Report thing.
Small groups of kittens.
That's right, small kittens petting.
Do you know what a group of kittens is called, Father?
No, what?
A Kindle.
Oh, a Kindle of
I have
kittens.
one of those.
Oh.
No, you don't.
I do.
You have.
It's a Kindle Fire.
You have a slurp of French bulldogs.
That's true.
Oh my. Yeah.
You know what a group of cats is called?
Well,
no.
A clouder.
A clouder of cats.
No.
And it's
a Kindle of kittens and a clouder of cats.
A murder of crows and a gaggle of reporters.
That's right.
Yeah. We always wondered what seminarian should be called.
I usually go with herd.
Yeah. We usually just...
Yeah.
They do move in herds.
Or a mess.
Messes. Gallimimus. Yeah. They do move in messes. Yeah. I think it would be a blessing of priests.
Sometimes.
You do it right. I don't know. So
a bother of priests.
Yes.
And an anxiety of bishops.
That's terrible. So speaking of anxiety, you've got all this stuff with iOS and certainly with Yosemite. You've got to program it. And this is a new area as well, because not only are they reintroducing the front end that we see, but they're also developing the back end with a new programming language, right? I know nothing about this other than it is never ever getting back together with iOS 7.
Yes, the new program is called Swift.
Oh,
see what I did there?
Yes, I liked it.
And this is only interesting to nerds, so this is like a level 17 nerd alert. But for those not in the know, iOS and OS X have been written in a language called Objective-C or C# for the last many years. That language was brought with Steve Jobs when he left his company Next Step, which is the company he founded when he was kicked out of Apple. And it's been the official language of Apple. It's called Carbon or Cocoa. It's actually called Cocoa on the OS X, but it's been Objective-C. The new language is Butamus. It is very, very Ruby-like, for those who know what that means. It's compiled, but it's also simple enough so that the simulator can run it like an interpretive language in real time. Put that in your nerd pipe and smoke it. The best practice is still object-oriented, but has plenty of room for scoped standalone functions. And its main purpose, I mean, honestly, is to glue together all the APIs. So Apple has all these magical tools called APIs, application interface. And so this API knows how to use the camera. This API knows how to use the gravity features. This API knows how to use location. And all you've got to do is use this language to say, go and tell the camera to get the picture, and then tell the location thing to geotag it, and then tell the screen to shoot out the image. So I mean, you're not really inventing the wheel. You're more just duct taping together all the hundreds of great APIs that Apple has already created. Yeah. And you know, the real money quote from this comes from Steve Jobs, where he said, the way you get programmer productivity is not by increasing the line of code per programmer per day, which is the old way of thinking. That doesn't work. The way you get programmer productivity is by eliminating lines of code you have to write. Right. And so the line of code that is the fastest to write, that never breaks, it never needs maintenance, is the line you never have to write in the first place. And so what Swift does is throw away everything you don't really need. And so if you don't really need to type it, you can't screw it up, even me. And so it's a really, really exciting language. Most people, as I said, don't care, but this is a gigantic big deal for nerds, and it's going to make it really easier to write programs of all sorts.
And I like this idea very much because I've used the programming language a little bit that's based on, I guess, Objective-C. Whenever I was building graphics for our old video editing software, you have all these little nodes, and the nodes have options, and you just connect them together, and then eventually you get a little a function that would spit out and do something with images. And so it sounds to me like they're kind of developing further this notion of just making it really, really, really easy. But there could be an inherent danger with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember the 90s when the infamous program Print Shop Plus showed up.
A moment of silence for those who use Print Shop Plus. This is what opened up desktop publishing and, dare I say it, Comic Sans to the common man.
And don't forget clip art, Father.
Let's not.
Still alive and well in bulletins around this country.
It's true.
Burning the eyes
of at least me
and the souls of Catholics everywhere.
Yeah. I feel pretty strongly about clip art. I make my own. Anyway, continue.
People who will remember that in the 90s, before the 90s, if you wanted something printed, you either drew it with a crayon or you went to a professional who designed it and did it on an offset press. Mm-hmm. Then the 90s showed up, and now everybody with a dot matrix printer had a welcome home grandma banner.
Even if they didn't have a grandmother.
Spent an hour tearing off the little edges of the paper. This new language is going to make writing iPhone and iPad apps as easy as desktop publishing was in the 90s, which means we're going to get mountains of useless, terrible apps, not just by people looking to troll the App Store and make money, but by every 9 and 10-year-old who's been assigned to do something interesting by his teacher in class. And so until the stores do a better job of curating what's actually good and what's junk, we're going to be seeing more and more and more stinky apps that are going to flood the App Store. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something we're going to have to be on the lookout for.
Yeah. And, of course, Apple still curates more or less by hand in the App Store, correct?
Yeah, they have a duck named Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas the duck is a curator. He has a little monocle.
Yeah, well, they originally tried to hire the squirrels from Willy Wonka, but it turns out, as Veruca Salt learned, you can't get them. They're not for sale. No. And so they had to opt for ducks.
The geese also unavailable for programming.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, squirrels and geese. Yeah, all of them out.
Yeah, you're thinking of the newer version of
the newer,
Charlie
more disturbing
and the
version.
Chocolat Factory. Yes, I prefer the more lightly scented film noir that was Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, all those animals were unavailable for comment.
That's right. Exactly. So yes, Matt Hartle in the chat room says, customer reviews to the rescue. That's really, on my Android device, that's what keeps me from going crazy, is saying, oh yeah, well, at least there are some customer reviews that say, do not download this. It will not give you television from around the world.
It will
Which is
not
what
make
they all
golden
say.
eggs. Don't buy it.
It's true. That's right. David says in the chat room, says, I'm pretty sure everyone has a grandma, maybe in the next world, but they have them. I don't know about that. I think that perhaps Jeff was decanted.
Are you serious? You said that in public.
I didn't want you to know. Well, you know one thing, we actually were decanted. Oh my, you've done it. You've managed to plug something into your ears, or if you're watching on the video feed, and it's Catholic Underground. It's your weekly Catholic guide to the digital continent. We're always available on CatholicUnderground.tv or CatholicUnderground.com, Facebook.com/Catholic Underground, Twitter.com/Cath Underground. I'm Father Chris Decker. Joining me via Skype, we've got Father Ryan Humphreys. To my left, Kathleen Lee. To my front, Jeff Blackwell. To my over there, Mary Kate Taylor and Tim. I don't know who's running video right now. It's Tim. Tim is still.
This is a fun game.
I have a seminarian for the summer, and Tim is actually he has a little bit of experience with running video for Abbey Youth Festival and for other things like that. He even does video editing in his spare time. I tell you what, they know how to assign him, don't they? Putting him through the paces. Oh yeah, and he's learning stuff about what it takes to be a priest too. But I don't know, Father. Would you say that that being on the digital continent is Tim getting good training by shadowing me here to the Catholic Underground? Do you think?
I think it's valuable skills. I don't know that it's necessarily priestly training, but I think it's incredibly valuable skills. Yeah. All of us need to be open to whatever God is directing us to, and that's what I said in my sermon today. So there.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that again.
You get 2 dings.
2 dings, yes.
That's delightful.
That's a 2-ding ding.
Although, one of the things I've discovered about priesthood and working in media is that so many souls have come back to Christ, at least that I've been able to be witness to, just through the relationships that happen through Catholic radio, through Catholic television, through Catholic internet work. Certainly not because I'm amazing, but because the Lord can use the priest in this way. So yeah, I think there may be a little tinge of priestly importance to it, but of course, it's not the same thing as sitting somebody down in your office and helping them through a tough time or whatever. But it is a place of meeting. So Tim, hope you're taking notes. He is, because you're running camera. So St. Anne's Church in San Diego,
that's California.
Yeah, it is. It's true. In fact, they have the Bay Area NBC affiliate has great graphics. They are having a summer chant camp.
Yes, they are.
Not just any camp. A chant camp.
A chant camp.
Yeah.
You may be going to VBS, but these kids...
This is the next level.
These kids are legit. At St. Anne's, the kids are learning ancient Gregorian melodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty awesome.
I have to say, Kathleen, I did not sing the Veni Creator Spiritus in Latin because I never learned the chant. And so I can't sight... I know it, but I can't sight read it. And so I would have gone as a child to a chant camp.
I think yeah. And you would have enjoyed it.
I totally would have.
Maybe a little too much. Anyway.
But for the chant.
Oh, my. Anyway, there's a video online. It's about a 15-minute video that we're going to put in the show notes, a link to it. It's pretty awesome because in 2008, St. Anne's, the parish, was exclusively devoted to the extraordinary form.
Okay, so the Mass in Latin.
Yes. And so, it's incredible because in all these videos, these young girls are all wearing chapel veils, and it's beautiful. But about 3 years ago, they started this chant camp, and it talks in the video about how Pope Pius X, in his writing on his writings on sacred music, said there are 3 particular qualities for good sacred music in the liturgy.
Mm-hmm.
1, first is sanctity. Is it holy music? 2, beauty of form.
Yeah.
Is it good to listen to?
Yeah, right. Is it constructed well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then 3, which this quality spontaneously arises when the first 2 are present, is universality.
Mm-hmm.
So can everyone sing it? And we all know we've been to a Mass where there's like a solo, and you're like, what the heck? The words aren't even printed. Nobody knows what's going on. And that is not universality. That is a solo in church.
It's monoversality.
And it's a solo no. That's what I have to say. So, in the video, the staff of the parish, especially the music director, Mary Ann Carr Wilson.
Oh, she's got a hyphen.
Yeah. She's got 4 names.
That's important.
Awesome. She's found that the kids pick up the melodies really fast. And so she's also found that language isn't really a barrier like it is for adults.
Yeah.
And so these kids are picking up this music. It's beautiful. It's, when you really sit down with Gregorian chant, that's what it was made to be, simple. And when the
many people don't realize that, I think, about Gregorian chant, because when they think of Gregorian chant, they think of stuff they've heard on CDs that are polyphonic, that have a lot of different voices, and they go, oh, there's no way. There's no way I could even imagine to start. And yet, if you're learning the simple plain chant, it's very easy to do.
Yeah. It's almost predictable. You can kind of know where it's going next. Even for those people who are not musically inclined. In fact, at the last 2 weekends I've been at ordinations, priestly ordinations, and we've sang the Salve Regina, which I would say is chant, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's a plain chant of the Hail, Holy Queen.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, and it's easy. So the question is this a workable model for our youth choirs?
Yeah, I would say that it could be, Father.
Yeah, in terms of a summer camp, absolutely. It's entirely doable, and it's really not all that difficult. Now, you have to start saying, where does a youth choir happen? Because if you're talking about 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, then this is ideal. If you're talking about 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that's when it starts to become where they want to see some practical application just psychologically. And unless they belong to a parish where they know this is going to be something that's an ordinary part of the faith life of the parish, it's going to be hard for them to find a place. In high school, by the time they get to high school, if they don't have any interest at all, it's unlikely they're going to want to devote time during the summer to it. So I think it would work very, very well as an elementary camp. And if your parish had a decent, kind of chant-oriented program for one of the masses or more of the masses at Sunday, then you could make a play of it there for junior high. But I don't think it would really work for high school without some kind of context and background.
Very. I like this idea quite a bit, though. And I think you're right, though, Father. You would have to build this in somehow, right?
Yeah, you really do. Although I want to add, too, that I think this is a good thing, not just because it might be successful. That's fine and helpful. But unlike, vacation Bible school songs or even praise band songs, we call praise and worship music, the Gregorian melodies are really training the ear and they're training the voice.
Yeah.
And so whereas folk music and praise music encourage a kind of improvisational style, on the instrument and in the voice, that is somewhat difficult to unlearn, because I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
A kid who starts in high school or a college choir with a praise band background is going to struggle to switch that. It's going to be a difficult time when you want to get away from improvisation, where improvisation is not welcome in real music, real beautiful music. Whereas a kid with chant training could go the other way pretty easy. If you had real chant training following into a folk genre or singing something praise music, that's very easy to do. And so I think a kid with chant training is probably going to end up doing better than a kid with folk training, or I should say a kid with chant training I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's good to have the chant training, especially if you want to go toward more serious music down the road.
That's right, because the chant kind of lends itself towards a more classical understanding of music as a whole, but also the theory of how music works. And you can get by. Just because I grew up in a lot of the songs of the '80s in church, where you don't really get a good understanding of how music works from them. You just know that they sound kind of good.
When I remember Father Sean Duggan, we were trying to learn some piece of chant at seminary, and one of our guys had some kind of training in R&B. I think it was Ernest, and he said, "Who is that? Who is that singing that silly running, that kind of blah stuff? Who are you? Oh, there you go. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. That's terrible."
That's right. That's right.
He was a really talented vocalist.
Yeah, but he had to kind of slow him down. But one of the things that I love about Gregorian chant, and I've probably said this before, it was told to me that whereas folk music that has worked its way into the liturgy, especially in the 80s and 90s, follows the human heartbeat, right? 4/4 time or 3/4 time or something. It follows a beat.
Yeah.
And those beats are based upon an earthly rhythm, the human heartbeat, right? That's essentially how you keep the time. Gregorian chant melodies are based on a heavenly rhythm, and if you've ever heard it, if you ever listened to it on a CD or perhaps in the liturgy, it does something different to you. It actually, because prayer is lifting the mind and heart to God, Gregorian chant has the ability to kind of lift you in kind of this otherworldly place. And so if you're teaching kids about that, then you're giving them some music, certainly some good music knowledge, but you're also beginning to teach them kind of a form of prayer. And that, I think, could be very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it.
And you said it was a really neat video on YouTube there, Kathleen. So
yeah, we'll make sure we put that in the show notes.
Yeah. And for the listeners who may not know, where are the show notes?
The show notes, as always, are if you go to CatholicUnderground.com, which is our website, you will find on our website a listing of all of the latest shows. So that's right on the front page, right when you get there. And all you got to do is you click the latest episode. For example, episode number 265, and that will take you to the episode page. And once you're at the episode page, you'll see the video feed from that particular week. You'll see the audio feed from that particular week, and then all of the show notes, all the things that we talked about, they will be there as well as the ways to follow all of the members of our Catholic Underground crew. So
do it all.
That's the way to do it at CatholicUnderground.com, and we'll take care of the rest from there. All right, well, I guess the show is kind of moving along, so much so that it's time for
the CU Pick of the Week.
All right, CU Pick of the Week time, and for our CU Pick of the Week, Kathleen.
Here I am, back with your weekly start-off pick of the week. And so this one's for the ladies. Guys, I mean, cheese knives were great. But this one is for the ladies.
This is just for them. Cheese knives for everybody. It's universal.
Yeah. I mean, if you would like to, I don't know.
Maybe you're buying.
Maybe you're buying for a lady in your life. If you are out there and you are looking at what is for sale for us to wear as women, you, like me, are going to be hopefully, somewhat disappointed in the length of things that you wear. And if modesty is what you're looking for, it's hard to find these days. And so I want to tell you about a clothing store called Down East Basics. Down East Basics, and they're from the get-go, they wanted to make comfortable, trendy, modest clothing for women. And I found out about it when I was in Colorado. And had met some Mormon friends, and she was dressed so cute, and I was like, "Where did you get all these things?" And she said, "Well, let me tell you about Down East Basics." Yeah. Now, it's in a couple of different places across the United States. Unfortunately, it's not here in Louisiana, but you can go online to their website. I've actually put a link to their actual website where you can shop, and a little article that talks about what the purpose of Down East was made for. Trendy clothing, especially now if you're looking for that bathing suit and you can't find one that you would actually wear in public. They have a very beautiful line of modest swimsuits. And so
they're all they're one pieces.
Yeah.
But they're very tasteful. And as a guy can say this, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. And so my question to you, dear listeners, is email us and tell us where are some other places, because I know there's a lot of other modest clothing lines out there. So if you know of one, please email us. You can email me at Kathleen at
CatholicUnderground.com.
CatholicUnderground.com.
Or backchat at CatholicUnderground.com if you so desire.
Yeah, because I know that you guys are looking for some modest clothing as well as I am.
That's right. Yeah, and it always seems like that comes up, for example, like at a wedding. Well, Father, I didn't have anything modest to wear. And, having walked by some of the bridal shops, I tend to agree with them.
It's hard.
It's hard to find something.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm guessing, something that's attractive.
Yeah. Yeah, we always tend to, if you're looking for modest, it always comes with shoulder pads and
The
hair from the 80s.
Yeah,
the 80s April O'Neil.
Yeah.
From the Ninja Turtles.
You end up looking like your grandma, which, I mean, no offense. They are very modest ladies most of the time.
That's right.
So.
Yeah. I like this idea too, because just like chant is a marriage of beauty and form, right. Clothing can do that as well.
Yeah.
You know, clothing can actually help a person to appear beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it helps the transcendentals come out right there, Father Ryan.
Indeed, it does.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of transcendentals, Jeff Blackwell, you have a pick of the week, and it's a big one, all right.
Honorific abilitudinitatibus.
Yeah.
That's a long word.
Let's hear it again.
Honorific abilitudinitatibus.
And my wife found this, I don't know, she was goofing around, and she said, look, I found this, it was a YouTube pronunciation of the longest Latin word, I think, in the world. Mm-hmm. And I come to find out, and I just think it's just neat because it's a long word and got a lot of syllables. I haven't counted the syllables, but
and I actually translated it properly. I want you to know.
Father Chris did, and so there's a link, Wikipedia link in the show notes. It gives you a little more info about this word, but it was actually used in one of the Shakespeare plays, "Love's Labour's Lost." So I just thought it was fascinating. Want to hear it again?
Yeah, sure.
Honorific abilitudinitatibus.
So basically it means somebody that is in a state of being able to achieve honors.
Yes, or worthy of honor.
Yeah.
Actually, not somebody, somebodies. It's plural.
Plural.
Yeah, ibus, right? Yeah.
That's right. Dative plural, if I'm not mistaken.
So there it is. That was just fun. It was my pick of the week. It was cheap, by the way.
Ablative plural, I think, right?
Well, isn't it both?
Oh, it is. It's both.
Oh, yeah, the Wikipedia says it is both dative and ablative plural. We're both right. Yay!
Man, that's 3 geek alerts in one episode. What are we doing?
Huzzah!
Yeah. Yeah, what we would do in the seminary is we would just put everybody's name in the ablative or dative plural for fun. So you'd be like Jeffy Boos.
Okay.
It makes it funny.
I would be Deckery Boos because they really rarely called me by my first name. Yeah. Kathleen Boos.
I don't like that one.
How about Kathleen Abunt?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that one either.
Kathleenitas.
Okay, that's a good
You
one.
like
You could do Bobbies.
I don't
Kathleen
like-
Bobbies.
Kathleen Bobbies.
I don't like bus being at the end of my name.
Well, you certainly don't want it in front of your name. Thank you. I don't know. Yikes. Well, Jeff, thank you for that short Latin lesson.
Oh, well. There we go.
Father Ryan, do you have your pick of the week lined up and ready to go?
Mine is a simple little app on the iPhone, or rather on the Macintosh desktop laptop, called airmail.app. The new OS X Yosemite is going to replace mail.app with a kind of a fully featured, very, very nice thing. I love AirMail because it is simple. It's everything that I need in a mail client. It's quick. It's very, very easy to use, and it has a lot of keyboard shortcuts. It is not bogged down by all the other nonsense that mail includes. And so airmail.app is the one for me. I think it's like $10. It's really worth it, especially if you're a power user on Mac. It is a no-brainer, and it picks up where Sparrow left off, if that helps. So great little app, and definitely worth checking out. The link's in the show notes.
In fact, I use AirMail as well, but I don't know why. I don't use all the keyboard shortcuts. Maybe I need to start looking them up.
There's a lot of good ones. My favorite is in replying. It's Butterfly E, and it does an inline reply. So it doesn't open a new window. It just puts up a little box at the top. You type, and it goes away.
Oh.
And there's a send and archive button. It supports send and archive as well.
I'm going to look up those keyboard shortcuts because I like that. Yeah. My pick of the week is, here, you ready? I did them all at once. Sorry. Anyway, my pick of the week.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I'm pretty amazing. Is a collection of maps and diagrams in the comic book world. So it's called comic book cartography. So you know how sometimes in comic books they have to tell you where you are. They have to give you a pretty clear understanding of what the world looks like. And so this is a collection of all of those comic books pages, these kind of center spreads that give you establishing maps of things happening in the comic book world. For example, the Bat Cave. You always wonder what the Bat Cave looked like. Well, it's in there. In fact, there's even a giant penny in the Bat Cave. I'm not really sure why. But the Avengers Mansion, for example, you might need that. You never know. It's all there, and even planets, entire planets. So if you ever have wondered about some of these things, Jeff, you can actually find it on comic book cartography. For example, the Nick Fury tunnel cutaway of how Nick Fury gets into the Hydra building to take him down.
I've often wondered about that. Had sleepless nights, as a matter of fact, a couple of times. Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't wondered about this? I mean, they have a decoy ship, Jeff. A decoy ship.
No way.
It's a toy boat.
Oh.
Toy boat. Yeah. So that's my pick of the week as well. So there you go. That's my pick. Do you have a pick of the week? Let us know. Backchat at CatholicUnderground.com is the best way to do it. David Pearson in the chat room says that my pick of the week is a bit too Sheldon-y for him.
Aww.
I don't know. Well, it is pretty geekish. I'm not. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. Backchat at CatholicUnderground.com. Oh, Jeff, we have so many that listen to us. We have so many that now are watching us, and we certainly thank you. And there's a way, maybe if you're listening to the show for the first time or the first time in a while, that you can help us out.
Yes. So jump on. Actually, I was going to say portions of the Catholic Underground are brought to you by you because you keep us alive with your donations, no matter how big, how small. CatholicUnderground.com. And also, portions of Catholic Underground are brought to you by audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground. That's audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground.
And if I can take this moment just to let you know, if you are considering donating to CatholicUnderground.com, we finally upgraded our donate form, so it's a lot easier for you to do that. It used to be you had to do a little gymnastics. You don't have to do that anymore. CatholicUnderground.com/donate is the place to go. Alrighty, if you want the show notes that accompany this episode and the podcast, you want to find out more about our apostolate, you can do that. CatholicUnderground.com is the way to do it. Father Ryan's Church is online at minorbasilica.org. He's at FR Humphreys on Twitter. Thank you, Father Ryan, for being here.
It's been my pleasure.
Jeff Blackwell is the tech director of the CU. He's the ruling despot at the Blackwell Communications Group. Jeff Blackwell.us and at Jeff Blackwell.us.
Good to be here, Father.
It's less than a minute now. Kathleen Lee is our faith ninja. She's at Kathleen YABR. Thank you, Kathleen.
Anytime.
Mary Kate Taylor and Tim are evangelists. In their spare time, they run a nickel package against the shotgun offense. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us on the digital continent. I'm Father Chris Decker. You can follow me at Digital Catholic. We, my friends, are Catholic Underground. Now you know. We're Faith Gone Digital. We'll see you next time.
From the Catholic Underground.
Are we out yet? I don't know. Because I don't hear anything. Oh.
Oh, no.
You bigger goofball, you.
I did. I took my earpiece out just, so that Kathleen and I could appear cool.
We were trying really hard.
It didn't work. This is the See You Later.
Oh, so sorry.
I don't know. We had a very See You Later-like show, this show, if I may say so. I'm Father Chris Decker. We've got Kathleen Lee sitting over there.
Hello.
Her earpiece is still in.
Although it's itching.
It is itching. They itch after a while. Yeah. It's a reminder to us that all things are fleeting.
Yes.
And that eventually the only time in which our earpieces will not itch is in heaven. That great big audio booth in the sky.
Wow.
Something to be said for that.
That's true. Jeff Blackwell is our audio engineer here on Earth. And we thank him for his presence. We've also got Tim the Seminarian, who I guess is running the See You Later, are you? Yeah. And then Mary Kate Taylor, who has been laughing up a storm the whole, I don't know what's going on in there. They're obviously having a great deal of fun. I'm just happy there's no camera because it's kind of fun to actually imagine like a water slide or something. I don't know.
They have the giggles.
They have the giggles. Or maybe like pudding, because pudding is funny.
Did you have $250?
I had the $240. I had to have the pudding. Just saying. There you go, Father Ryan. How was I think that we may be being throttled by our internet service provider.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Of course, I find it delightfully ironic now that I have super high-speed internet that works across my entire. It's mesh netted across the entire place.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't make an internet connection work. I think it's
things
delightful.
do happen. Although, according to this, from 5:01 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which is GMT -7, the health for our stream has been good. So I'm wondering if maybe we didn't have some folks that were having some trouble. I mean I don't know where the hiccup is. So if you've been listening to us on the line and there was trouble, we do apologize.
Father Chris did it.
It was my fault. In the chat room, I tell you what, if you haven't been to the chat room, if it's your first time in the chat room, we had some brainiacs in the chat room today. David Pearson is reporting. We had a pretty lively Latin declension and conjugation discussion today, both on air and in the chat. James, you are welcome. We're glad to have you in the chat. He says, thanks, see you, I've got to run. Well, it happens to the best of us. You just got to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
If Forrest Gump did it, you can do it too.
That's true, and he ran a long way. A long way. So yeah, I don't know, Father. I know it's been a long week for me. Pentecost happened, and I didn't have an extraordinary form mass, but as Tim the seminarian can tell you, it was action-packed. We had 2 baptisms today, and what else did we do? We had all sorts of stuff. Do you find that a sprinkling rite? Do you do sprinkling rites in your ordinary form mass?
That's a negative Ghost Rider.
The sprinkling rite
I've never heard of it.
The pattern is full.
Yeah.
It's all kind of full.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The sprinkling rite for me seems to take a long time.
Yeah, I've never had a whole lot of interest in doing a sprinkling rite. Just because I don't think there's an excuse to omit the penitential rite.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the
for
thing
that.
I always wonder
with the
about.
exception of days doing baptismal promises. Like, I don't have a qualm with confession, or I don't have a problem with confirmation, First Holy Communion, Easter Sunday, Divine Mercy Sunday. Those days I do replace it. But beyond those, no.
Yeah, I mean, I do them during the Easter season generally, certainly to end Pentecost. But and yes, obviously our baptism is important. It's kind of a big deal. But I really like the penitential rite. I really do. And of course, it's integral to the celebration of the Mass. Even though there are other opportunities for our venial sins to be forgiven, there's something about beginning. In a sense, my baptism becomes all the more in focus whenever I am aware of my sinfulness and asking for mercy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And David reminds us that we have Ember Days this week.
Oh yeah, we sure do.
Which is different than City of Ember, which was a good movie. Jeff, have you seen City?
Yeah.
No, and I'm not familiar with the term Ember Days.
Oh, well, Father Ryan, take it away.
Please.
Well, if for a long time there, no, the word Ember Days comes from a mispronunciation of a mispronunciation of mispronunciation. But eventually, actually, it goes back to the church wanted to keep holy the 4 natural seasons. And so at the rough change of spring, summer, autumn, and fall, there would be a week of prayer and penance. And so the idea is Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, there were special adjustments to the Mass where there were extra readings and extra prayers. And then you would abstain from meat and you would fast for one meal only, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Wow.
And that would mark the beginning of the Ember Days. Or that would mark the beginning of the natural season. Now, the beautiful, fun story is that St. Francis Xavier took these Ember Days, which were part of the liturgical calendar, with him to Japan. And the Jesuits there are missionizing and doing all this kinds of stuff and converting people. And at that point, the days were called the Quator Tempora, the 4 seasons. And so the idea is you can't eat meat because you're abstaining.
Right.
And so he explains to the people, these Japanese people, it's the quattro tempura, so you cannot do meat, you have to do seafood. And they say, okay, we'll do shrimp. And in order to do that, they lightly breaded and fried shrimp that became tempura shrimp.
Awesome story.
I like that.
And so there's more kind of quirky things along the way, but the Jesuits are actually responsible, in the Ember days, are responsible for the Japanese art of tempura.
I'll be. By the way, can I share something with my peeps? And don't get me wrong, you are my peeps.
Yeah.
Word.
As long as I'm not made of marshmallow, I'm fine with it.
No, and you know, this is the closest thing I had to wear today.
Sure.
But I have for years, in moments of prayer and serious, contemplation, a lot of times go outside of the patio and just kind of try to, get close to nature and watch the birds and stuff like that. But it's like, the Lord sends me a red cardinal every now and then. And this morning it was just, you call it, just happenstance, but I unlocked and opened the back door to the patio, and just about the time the door swings open, this beautiful red cardinal comes sweeping down, lands on the ground, and of course I was already in motion to go outside, and when he saw me, he flew away. But it was just like, what timing is that? And I just wanted to share that.
And there's something about a cardinal that it's such a beautiful bird.
Yeah.
And it's shocking, right? Because the red, the color of blood, the color of passion,
right? Exactly.
Always kind of wakes us up.
Yes.
And I know when I see a cardinal, it usually does stop me in my tracks as well.
And the thing I love about cardinals too, they pick a mate for life, and they work together, feeding, taking care of the nest.
That's right.
I just love cardinals.
That's right. And as far as ecclesiastical cardinals, they pick a mate for life too. The church.
Boom.
Truth drop. And so there you go. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
According to David, in Der Chattenrumen, ordinations traditionally happen during Ember Saturdays.
Right. The traditionally all the minor orders, and even the subdiaconate were done during on Ember Saturday.
Yeah.
Which meant that the mass would take as long as 2 hours.
Oh, is it not to be confused with the mass of a dedication of a church in which the bishop enjoys a small collation?
He had to have a snack in the middle.
That's right.
Because it went on so
liturgy.
long. No,
Kathleen's all on board for that.
Yeah.
The usual traditional Latin mass for a Saturday is an entrance antiphon, one reading from Scripture, a short gradual, which is kind of a prayer meditating upon that reading, and then the gospel, and then the prayers as usual. You usually go on with Mass. On Ember Saturday, you get 7 readings, each accompanied with its own special extra prayer. Then you get to start the gospel and everything else. And each of those readings is reading, let us kneel, let us stand, prayer. Reading, and these are not short readings. They're not like Psalm 1, whatever it is, where it's in
3 office
lines.
Of readings in a Te Deum. And
I mean, it could be lengthy. I mean, I offered once or twice when I was doing the TLM every Saturday, and once or twice I stumbled onto it and said, I'll just go ahead and do it and man through it. It was like an hour and 5 minutes for daily Mass, privately, So after that, I do the TLM every Saturday except the Ember Saturdays, where we do an ordinary form Mass, because I don't have an hour for daily Mass on Saturday. But it was it's one of the most masculine parts of the old Mass, because it's all very, very much you got to get up and keep going, because this is offering penance to the Lord. You're receiving all these gifts, and you really do feel in the Old Testament where they say everybody was standing there and they read the entire book of Deuteronomy to the gathered community. Right. And then afterwards, everybody needed to eat a cake because they were completely exhausted.
That's right. And yet, having heard the book of Deuteronomy, they were edified by it.
They were edified.
You know what they were asking for.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Yep. Well,
we've been working together so long.
We finish each other's sandwiches.
You can't have my sandwich.
Oh.
Leave me alone, Donald Trump.
That priest has devil eyes.
You're fired.
Frost and Bears.
What am I saying? I think on that note,
I think so too.
Yeah. Jeff Blackwell, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure and an honor.
He's going to hunt for cardinals, but with a camera. Take a picture, last long, that sort of thing. Kathleen Lee.
Hey.
Did you say anything during the See You Later?
I don't know.
Just now.
I got a list of
Oh, she was reading BuzzFeed or some such.
No, I got a list of modest websites. I was like,
so you actually did get some. Oh.
Yeah.
Search and know that.
What do you know? We got people that just hanging out with Kathleen there. She's having her own private little show.
Yeah.
Kathleen's Corner. There's another corner in the studio. That's Mary Kate Taylor and seminarian Tim Grimes on the assist. Or I don't really know who was in the driver's seat the whole time, but Tim. Okay. Oh, hey. Good on you, mate. And this has been the See You Later. I'm Father Chris. And yeah, that's it.
Good night, New York.
Hasta luego.
Unique New York.
I love scotch.